right, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, June 10th at 9 a.m. We'll start our work session. Any public comment? No? Anybody online? Okay, we will kick it off with Christina with the treasurer's report.
Good morning, Commissioners. Christina Herring, Finance Director. This is our treasurer's report for the end of May. You'll see at the top, we have all of our bank and investment account balances. And then the variance of that is just our deposits in transit, the outstanding checks, and then tax turnover. So you'll notice those numbers really haven't changed too much from last month, but May is our final tax turnover for the year, so we'll expect that to start going down. The next section is just how our pooled cash accounts that are in our general ledger compare to those bank and investment account balances and the GL. The next section is our cash allocation to each of the funds within the county. And then the last section is our investment allocation by type. And then our book value compared to market value. And just a reminder, as always, we do hold our investments to maturity. So that results in lower risk and more predictable returns, but that unrealized gain is not really a realistic estimate. It will be probably a little bit less than that. The last page just goes over interest rates. We haven't seen those move too much recently, but we'll see what happens with the next Federal Reserve meeting. We did meet with government portfolio advisors, our investment advisors yesterday, and talked to them kind of about investment strategy and what things look like moving forward, ways we might adjust our investment strategy within our investment policy to take advantage of the higher returns right now. So we're working through that with them. And I think that's all I've got, so happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Nope. Thank you. Brad?
I guess I'll do it back here. So this morning, good morning, everybody, commissioners. I am here to ask for signatures on 3 grant opportunities that I've been working on for several months. They're flat grants. They are 0 money match this year. So it's a very good opportunity for us to go forth because of the 0 matches this year. It's going to be a really super competitive grant cycle this year due to the fact there's only 35 million allocated to Oregon. So we'll throw our name in a hat and see how it works out. The first one is Mill Creek grant. The total grant value is $5.289 million and some change. That is paving from the gravel end of pavement to the forest boundary, taking that out of our grading inventory. And it goes up to a couple of campgrounds, goes into 20,000 acres of forest land. With talking to the National Forest engineer and the representative, they're really for it. They think it's a really good grant. So I'm looking to have this signed today. The opportunities are due on Friday the 12th by the commissioners. And it's support signatures on this grants. So I already have the ranger or the manager of the Forest Service signed, and the engineers already signed off on it. So I hot pressed them over to you, Brianna, for the most recent ones. They just came in this morning. So that's the Mill Creek grant. Pewitt Bridge is on Pewitt Road. It goes into the regular campground or regular what is that, the ranger station area. It also goes into forest land, lots of land. It is a 13-foot culvert that's undersized for some of our weather events that we get if we have super heavy snows and fast rain melt-offs in the spring. It does get inundated, and there is a possibility of it breaching the road and taking the road out. And that is one of the main roads that goes into the national forest, or one of the main roads. And it also goes into some private property up there. Again, the price tag on that, fully constructed, it'll be a bridge instead of a culvert. Back in the seventies, the feds thought it was a good idea to replace a bunch of bridges with culverts. And we're finding out now that they were undersized and they're rotting out. So the bottom of this one is failing, or it's rotted out. And with the weather events that we have and, proposed events, I feel that it's probably a good opportunity to get this replaced with a 100-foot span bridge. And there'll be some fish habitat and stuff like that go along with it. All the NEPA stuff will be handled through Anderson Perry also. The price tag on that is 4.38 million, and some change. So the third one is BLM grant, doing Willard Road to Reservoir Road to Highway 27. So basically from the Deschutes County line to Highway 27, going to the reservoir. It is a main thoroughfare from southern and western central Oregon to get to Prineville Reservoir for recreation and fishing, bike riding down the 27 road. It's a wet and wild road. A lot of fly fishing down there on the river. BLM was totally supportive of it. Talked to their engineer, and Lisa has already signed all them signatories on that. And the price tag on that is $5.3 million. And the reason they're so high is because ODOT has to do the delivery on them. We are not registered with the feds to be able to inspect or perform these jobs. So it has to be through ODOT, and there is a price tag on that to have ODOT perform these services. So asking for signatures of support today so I can get these out in the mail as soon as possible. So any questions on it?
No,
Can ODOT's, we use private?
We can use private, yes, we can, but the feds like to use ODOT because they've trained them to do it. So we can put that in the grants to work that direction. I am using a consulting team to help support these grants. We need to get everything dialed in. I want to be really ready to do these grants. So when we do submit them, they're 100%. So been working on these for about a year.
Susie?
I just want to say that Brad did a really good job on this. He called me and talked to me about these grants, and I approve you, Brianna, to put my stamp on the grants. I just want to get that on the record that that he has my approval.
do we need a motion to sign it? I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the 3 block grants, and approve them.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Hermrick, aye.
Crawford, aye.
Barney,
Thank you.
I think you're up next, sir.
I'm still here.
Don't go,
I'm not gonna move from away. The next one is the request for pre-seeding to go into contract for the barbed wire crush. We've had 4 bids. We had 12 people show up to the pre-bid meeting. We had 4 actual bids. You guys have seen the packet. I don't think I need to go into detail what the bids were, but lowest bidder was 4R Equipment LLC at $662,250, and they will be crushing about 75,000 tons of material out of a leased pit that I've been working on for about a year and a half on this lease to get it in place for us to have another supply out there in the upper country area. It actually will cover 2 districts, District 1 and District 2, which is Bear Creek and Paulina, for material on the roads. It's just imperative that we get these in place now before the prices go up to do business. And we used to have this pit leased several years ago, and I initiated contact with the land representative, and we finally come to terms with the lease about 6 months ago, Eric. 5 or 6 months ago. It took a long time to get this through with back and forth. Anyway, short story is I'd like to go into contract or award the contract to 4R Equipment LLC for the crush on this.
So commissioners, you've all heard this before, but just so we have it on the record, what we typically do with something like this is make a motion to approve the contract and sign it outside of a board meeting. The contract, as you see from the packet, was part of the RFP, so the public's had a chance to review it. But that will allow the contractor to supply us with the necessary signatures and bonds. And then we don't necessarily need to wait for a future meeting to have you guys actually add your John Hancock. So unless you have any other questions, I might recommend a motion to award the contract to 4R LLC as the lowest responsible bidder and to authorize signing the contract outside of the meeting.
So moved.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Hermrick, aye.
Crawford, aye.
Barney, I.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go back to work.
I'm here for the rest of the day.
All right.
This is yours.
Good morning, Commissioners. Blaine Cheney, Director of Information Technology with you here this morning. I'm here this morning to seek purchasing approval for an expired contract that we have for connectivity between the sites for the county. So a multi-year contract is come to end. We've investigated 4 options. One of them was our longstanding previous partner. The other 3 options were TDS, Lumen, as well as LS Networks, which are large carriers here in the high desert. So those 3 carriers were not able to meet our needs. I'm here this morning seeking your approval to authorize that contract. It's a 3-year contract. The savings to the county after taking a look and reconfiguring to meet the needs of the county, it's going to be 14.8% savings to the county over the existing contract. So total for the total life of the contract, that's a little over $18,000. So $18,360 to be exact. So I'm seeking your approval here this morning to authorize a 3-year contract with Primetime to renew that connectivity.
Now, do we need to approve today, or do we have to just say it's a good idea and then put it on the regular schedule, or is there a time frame?
So for the contract renewal, it just exceeds purchasing authority. For my purchasing authority, the total size of the contract exceeds 100,000, so it exceeds Will's purchasing authority. So it would need to be the commissioner's purchasing authority.
I'm more talking about timeline.
Oh, timeline.
Like, do you need it today, or can we wait a week and do it next week?
Can we have it? Okay.
So we can put it on
Can
consent?
we just put it on consent?
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah, I think
I
it's
had
a
to look
great
at Chelsea
idea.
to make sure I didn't have the wrong date.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, the
No, I think it's a perfect, well done. I just want to make sure we
Yeah.
go through the right process.
Yeah, contacts where, long workflow. So we're good.
Well done. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, commissioners.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, Katie?
Morning, Katie Polly, Human Services Director. I have today a request to renew an intergovernmental agreement with Multnomah Education Service District. They provide the Medicaid administrative claims processing for our department. They have for several years and are really our only option to do administrative claims processing. But their work supports, we're estimating $150,000 worth of revenue through that agreement. So I'm seeking to renew for fiscal year 27.
Perfect.
Hey, do you know what the billing amount committee care would be?
I don't, not off the top of my head, but I can get it before you guys sign.
It's kind of wondering what the percentage of the cost is compared to the.
I can get that for you guys.
Great.
Katie, how long have you had this IGA?
As long as I've been here, I would have to check
Yeah.
back or have Alex or Eric look back at how long we've had it.
Yeah, if it hasn't been a decade, it's been or more, it's been near a decade. And if I remember, there is a provision in our local public health funding agreement that says something to the effect that counties will contract with well, no, my education service district for these services.
Yeah.
That's not in the current agreement. It has been in prior agreements.
And one other quick question. So the $150,000 that you referred to, is that year after year, when we have?
That is what, been fairly stable.
Yeah.
It depends on how many people we have doing administrative claim qualifying work. Based on my estimate of the people that we have on staff now, that would be the revenue we can generate.
Cool, thank you.
So no action needed, we'll just, if,
It
I'm
can-
good
it
with
can
moving
roll.
it forward to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yes, I'm good with that.
Susie?
Yeah, fine.
Perfect, okay. All right. Rick?
Here, this was in your packet, but I'll give you paper copies of my presentation also. Just in case you're have boomer tendencies like I do. So my name's Rick Shalevin. I'm the Community Mental Health Director for Crook County and the CEO of Best Care Treatment Services. And I'm here to talk about the Pacific Source Community Solutions Community Mental Health Contract. And just as a reminder for folks, as a designated community, Crook County Community Mental Health Program, Best Care Leadership negotiates the Pacific Source CMHP contract representing Crook County. So, and just how these go, Best Care has two contracts with Pacific Source, imaginatively called the CMHP contract and the non-CMHP contract. The non-CMHP contract took about 2 weeks to negotiate. The CMHP contract took about 4 months and hot and heavy. So difficult negotiations. And Pacific Source is the managed Medicaid operation for the 3-county region of Central Oregon. And a Crook County Commissioner, Susie, is designated seat on the Central Oregon Health Council, which is the governing agent for the CCO. So that's how this all works out. And the CCO is required by OHA to have a contract with the local CMHP provider. So we are recommending to the Crook County Board of Commissioners to sign this contract with reservations. We don't believe that this is a good contract, but it's the best contract that we can get for right now. Our concerns are that this represents a 10% cut in resources for the Crook County CMHP at a time when the CCO's finances have stabilized and they are showing in the last 12 months, rolling 12 months, a 3.7% profit. And by contract, they're only allowed to have a 2% profit. So
Does that include the 10% they're looking to take out? So it would actually be more like 13.7?
oh yeah, no, this is like, I'm on the finance committee. So as of last month, they had for the last 12 months, 3.7% profit with an agreement that they only keep 2%.
Yeah.
So my level of skepticism is incredibly high. They've never lost money in Central Oregon. They've never lost money in Central Oregon. So Pacific Source has forced major contract cuts with all the CMHPs. This is very similar to what Deschutes County is getting. In their other CCO regions, they've done essentially the same thing, where our cuts are probably less than the other regions. They also have made major cuts in the primary care contracts. Pacific Source has eliminated performance-based contracts, which has been central to its contracting philosophy. So this is, we used to have, here's the metrics you got to meet. We're going to take 10%, 8% out, and then we'll give it back to you if you meet these metrics. That's gone. So this is a step back from value-based contracting, which is a driving trend nationally. We initially sought a 6-month contract. But they wanted an 18-month contract as things went on. And Pacific Source I will talk about this later, but they appear to be increasingly unstable. And so we sought safety by having an 18-month contract, not knowing who we would be negotiating with in 6 months. And whether they would know anything about us, which ended up being true. Pacific Source is going through multiple rounds of layoffs, including the key executives over the Central Oregon CCO. Staff morale appears to be low, and staff are definitely not taking any risks. And many of the best people who are still there are actively seeking other jobs. The executive, Dan Stevens, who helped put together the CCO, back in 2012, he got riffed a couple weeks ago. And he was the representative on the Health Council.
Many of the people that I work with too, from Pacific Source have sent out emails saying that they've been let go.
Right, so we don't have anybody at Pacific Source who has any decision-making power, who knows anything about Central Oregon, anything about Medicaid, anything about behavioral health. So we wanted the 18-month contract. This is like, who are we dealing with? The claims department has been very difficult to deal with, making many errors and holding payments and not communicating about those holds in violation of their own prompt pay policy in their provider manual and the expectations of OHA. The problems with the claims department have cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And we are considering a formal complaint and legal action. And hopefully we will coordinate with the county so you're not taken by surprise by what we're doing. In the meantime, we are hearing that Pacific Source plans to contract out some of their claims and customer service functions with an overseas operator. That'll help.
The ones that are easy to talk to on the phone.
Yeah. I love the folks from India. And we are skeptical of the long-term commitment of Pacific Source to the Central Oregon CCO past the current contract with OHA, which ends December 2027. We believe that we need a Central Oregon planning process about our options and what is best for the people we serve. So that's sort of the state of things, which has the context about why we're recommending this contract. We did consider going nuclear and recommending don't sign it, but that would have really collapsed services. So I think we can maintain reasonable services, have stability with the contract, and we can work over the next 18 months to either see Pacific Source stabilize and reinvest in the CCO, or get another CCO involvement.
So would it be better to do it for a shorter period of time? So if we were having a really negative interaction, that we're not held hostage?
That was our first thinking, but then our second thinking is who would we be dealing with?
Well, and I think Melissa mentioned that the 6-month contract came with a larger cut as well.
Yeah. So there was a bigger cut. We would have to go immediately into negotiations again. Mm-hmm. And literally the people we're negotiating are disappearing, and we're, so we went with predictability.
If they start not fulfilling or really screwing things up, then we probably can reevaluate the contract or.
Yes, there is a 6 month so clause for no cause withdrawal from the contract is a 6 month notice. So there's a way of getting out with some time frame. You would want that time anyways, and to do that, you would have to line up an alternative contract. You can't just abandon the whole county's services. And then we are, as an organization, as Best Care, consulting our attorneys about contract violations on both the CMHP and the non-CMHP contracts for their issues around claims. It's really gotten ridiculous. And normally, my personal philosophy is work inside of an organization. That's almost always the best way. There's nobody left to work with. And the one person in the claims department that was worth dealing with, we are confidentially trying to hire her.
Not anymore.
Well, I doubt Pacific Source is going to be listening to this. So,
Cat's out of the bag.
yeah, okay. So that's sort of the state and the thinking behind the recommendation.
Got it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's gonna result in us having to change anything. I mean, we've been looking at the numbers and even with the rate cuts, and kind of looking at the funding that we get from OHA, and we've been allocating it to the different positions. Crook is still in the black. I mean, and I don't know about Jefferson, but, I don't think we're gonna have to change anything, and if we do, it's just gonna be, I think, repurposing a couple of the people that we have. But we're operating right now with a bunch of open positions, so,
Well, I think Susie worked really hard with COHC to reduce the amount of hit that we took.
Yeah, so we still haven't seen that funding, but there was $13.5 million sitting at the Health Council in reserves, not doing anything. So we all voted that should go out to primary care and behavioral health. And that check hasn't been written yet, but that would offset for about a year, about half the cuts.
Wait, it looks like Susie has her hand up.
Basically, everything that Rick has listed here on reservations, this has been problems for the last 3-4 months. You've been talking, and I think we're kind of the best that we can get. So I do agree with Rick and Angela, because these problems you identified, I'm sure at least 3 months ago. And it was the basis of why we tried to do the funding from COHC. So I go along with your arguments. I think it's a well-written document that you presented, and I wish we could do more, but we can't. We're stuck.
Okay, now, kind of just same question as last time. Is this time sensitive? Do we need?
It is time sensitive if, and I deferred to Eric about county procedures. The sooner I can get this signed, the less delay on payments that we can get.
Okay.
So, and Melissa is at Jefferson County Commissioners meeting.
Yeah, we heard she pulled the short straw.
You're not far from it. This is a public meeting,
So if there is no luxury of time and waiting 7 days isn't feasible, I do think that the commissioners could decide to approve the contract over by Brianna's office later today to get your signatures on it. Ideally, this would be on the consent agenda for June 17th, but it doesn't sound like that maybe particularly feasible today.
It's on the wall.
Yeah, the one concern I have is I don't know that the contract's in the packet. Is the contract?
Yeah, at least as of this morning, it isn't, so you guys haven't really had the opportunity to review it.
Yeah, I think it's probably best that we review it. It's 7 days and just devastating.
No,
Okay. I think we would.
that's something we'll manage, but.
Yeah.
So do we want to put it on discussion again, Eric, or put it as consent?
I think
Makes
it's,
sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had them, just for the legalities, they started negotiations with canceling the former contract. And so they wanted to just amend the canceled contract, which made no sense to me. So I insisted that they provide a full contract. So what you should have in your packet is a full contract. Riveting reading for civilians, I'm sure.
Okay, so yeah, you'll be good. 7 days.
Okay. Good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good seeing you guys.
Always a pleasure.
Casey, I think we have you online.
Good morning, Commissioners. Casey Daly from the fairgrounds. In your packet is a draft MOU from the Crook County School District to formalize the process and the agreement for sheltering and or use as a mass care facility in the case of an event at the school district. I did send this over for the county manager to review and also to county council. There was a question raised by Eric about a clause in the contract having to do with public statements that he wanted clarification on and just make sure that the commissioners were aware of that statement. I will say that we have been used as a kind of gathering place unofficially for the school district in events that have happened in the past. So this is nothing new, but this is just to formalize it. So I will turn it over to Eric about maybe some of his concerns and then also to Will.
so if you have your packet in front of you, towards the bottom of page 309, the second to last or third to last paragraph reads, Crook County School District shall provide any and all releases of information to the press and media. Requests for interviews or information submitted to Crook County Fairgrounds shall be directed to the Crook County School District Public Information Officer or the Superintendent of Schools. So if this agreement ends up having to be used, and school district pupils or educators are at the fairgrounds for an event, and there are any questions on this, this agreement would say those questions are referred to school district personnel. I don't think that's necessarily unreasonable, but it is something that the county hasn't often agreed to. So I wanted to bring it to your attention, see what you guys think about that. Is that something that the county is willing to commit to? Again, it would only apply if this agreement is ever used. We hope it is never used.
Can you give me like a real world example of how it could be a problem? Because I mean, it's
It may not
obviously,
be a problem.
no, I know, I'm just trying to like think why this would be an issue, because
Okay, so.
it's the school district that's having an issue.
Mhm,
They're using our area.
mhm.
And so then they're gonna say, X happened at the school, we're moving all your children to the fairgrounds. You know, this is our next plan, this is all the other things. So yeah, so.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. But if someone calls you up and says, what's going on in the fairgrounds? We're a taxpayer, you need to answer our question, you work for us.
Sure.
Are you comfortable saying, hey, for this instance, you need to direct that question to the school district, they will answer your questions.
But I think we could also talk with the school district and they can tell us what information we can share, and if they want more information, they can call the school district.
And if they're comfortable with that, great. And if they're saying no, direct all information to us, this agreement would say, yes, all information, all inquiries go to the school district.
I think we have a pretty good relationship with the school district. I feel comfortable that we can work something out. And, you know, obviously this isn't a lifetime deal. If for some reason we get sideways with the school district and we don't trust them anymore or see them as an adversary, we could always change the agreement, right?
I mean, you can go to them and say, hey, this is not working out, we want an amendment, certainly.
Yeah.
I think we could just refer them to anybody that asks, do we have an IGA with the school district, contact them.
Bill, did you want to say something?
In the event of a mass casualty at the school, it's gonna be a unified command system set up. So any, thing that goes to the press will go through, the sheriff's office, the police department, and the school district before it goes out. But typically, I think what Eric's saying though, is that when something like that happens, the information doesn't get out fast enough. We're never ahead of the curve when it happens. But just to kind of throw that in there, that it will be, if there is a mass casualty, there will be a unified message coming from the school district, the sheriff's office, and the police department. Well, mostly the police department and the school district, but we will also have a hand in that too. So just so you know.
Susie?
Well, it just seems when you look at the next paragraph where it says they'll recognize our hospitality, I kind of agree with both Seth and Brian that I think we're okay. And I think we do have a good relationship. So in my thinking, the only thing is, does Bill care that it doesn't say anything about law enforcement in the first paragraph? That would be my only question. But again, I think the second paragraph kind of covers us.
Well, no, it doesn't affect me. I just think that that's what's gonna happen. That's the way we train, with them too, so.
Okay. Okay, then that sounds, like I say, I think it says that they'll recognize our hospitality, and I think people would recognize that we would put it to the school district.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, somebody.
Consent agenda?
Good.
Perfect. All right, Will?
Good morning again, commissioners. This is just a brief update, no action required, as is, has been my practice. I just like to update the board when there are changes to personnel allocations. In this case, we're discussing the fairgrounds. Staffing is increasing from 5.12 FTE to 5.54 FTE for a net change of 0.42 FTE. This change is made up of a small increase in the administrative assistant senior allocation for training overlap, and also an increase in extra help to support operational and event coverage needs. On the budget side, this actually will result in a reduction in budget, notwithstanding an increase in FTE. So the personnel budget is actually down $7,000. Again, this is just an informational update, just like to keep you informed when there are changes from what has previously been discussed publicly. And just want to make sure you guys are aware. Any questions? Casey, I know you're online. Do you have anything you want to add in that regard?
No, I think you spelled it out. It's just we're staffing for our seasonal summer events, which we're in the midst of.
A little busy out there?
Have high school rodeo rolling in right now as we speak.
Okay. All right, sounds good to me.
Good.
Managers report?
Only thing I have this morning is just a reminder that not this Friday, but next Friday is a holiday, so county offices will be closed on June 19th.
Perfect. Commissioner updates? Susie?
Well, I'm up here in Tillamook. I'm actually in Astoria. And on Monday, Brian would have absolutely loved the tour. It was the dairies, water quality, fish hatcheries, a lot about farming, which was really, really informative. Super good questions. And yesterday, Seth would have really liked it because we actually went up into the forest. And I was amazed that it's 2 years when they from the start before they ever even cut a tree. We went through the entire process of logging, the buffers, endangered species, the actual mechanical way. This has been, I guess they've never done Tillamook and Clatsop County together. And it was an extremely, extremely informative, a lot of ODF&W people, a lot of Oregon Department of Forestry people, and quite a few commissioners, either incoming or already seated. So this is probably one of the better tours I think I've ever been on. So I was very happy, and I'm coming home today.
Jason?
Yes,
Brian?
I don't have anything.
I'm good. Anything from the public before we go to executive session? All right, the Crook County Board of Commissioners will now meet executive session under RS 192-6602F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection or RS 192-6602F.
I go through my phase.
To consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection, ORS 192-6602E. Conduct deliberations with persons designated by the government body to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives and news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other audience members are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report any deliberations during the executive session, except the statements set for general subject to the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we turn to open session, welcome the audience back into the room. Okay, the Crook County Board of Commissioners will now leave executive session under RS 192-6602F. Consider information or records that are exempt from law from public inspection, ORS 192-6602F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection. ORS 192-6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report any deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general session as previously announced. No decision was made in the executive session. We will now return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. All right. Eric, you want to kick us off with the first?
Yeah, so in the order in which they were discussed, I believe the motion would be a motion to direct staff to correspond with the counterparty as discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Hermrick, aye.
Crawford, aye.
Barney, I.
For the second item discussed, I don't think that there's a motion. Staff will gather more information and bring it back for a future meeting. And then for the third item discussed, a motion to execute the easement amendment as discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
If you need, Brianna, I give you approval to stamp my signature.
On the amendment?
Yes, please.
Sure. Sure.
All those in favor?
Hermrick, aye.
Crawford, aye.
Barney, I.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Ooh.
I second.
Any
I wish-
discussion?
Notice, I wish you could see the view I'm looking at right now. You guys would be very
You can
jealous.
turn your camera on.
Yeah.
I don't even know, how do I?
No,
do
she
that?
can't.
I have-
Right down there in the little square that says turn on video.
You can't.
Oh, I can't, no, because they
Someone
think,
in the inappropriate video.
yes,
Yes.
yes, That's what I was gonna put, was inappropriate, but God, I'm looking, the balcony is right under the Astoria Bridge, and I'm looking at the harbor and all the boats. And Stephen has decided he's gonna be the harbor master. He's monitoring all the boats, so it's beautiful.
Okay, all those in favor?
Awesome.
Herman, aye.
Crawford, aye. See you soon.
Okay.
Are you back?